Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, we're to another TMNT comic episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's raiding a lab with a Nick Fury lookalike with me tonight?
Stock Gen refugee Red Fox.
So we are here to talk about a comic episode that I had no intention of any interest in reading, but of course, we're going through all the TMNT, so I didn't have a choice. But I'm happy to say I was surprised. You were right. You were right. You were like, you're going to like this. I'm like, I don't know. But we're here to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 4-issue miniseries Mutanimals, which I could not type correctly for some reason.
Mutant Animals is what I read in the Skype call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's just M-U-T animals, but I could not type it.
Mutanimals.
Mm-hmm. Could not type it. And this came out in 2015. So this takes place right after the Attack on Technodrome stuff and right before, and I guess during the beginning of the Vengeance arc, which we are finally reading next time.
Oh, you can't wait.
I can't wait. That's one reason that we're doing this finally, and not the best circumstances, because I need to read Vengeance. Because once we finish this recording tonight, before I go to bed, I'm pulling out my tablet and I'm reading Vengeance, at least an issue or two.
That's one reason it happened, or the reason it happened.
Yes, because I cannot wait. But this really surprised me. Like the first cover, I was looking at it. You have the Mutanimals that we've come to know. Hob / God, what the fuck is the crab's name?
Herman.
Oh, yeah. Pete and Gecko. Mondo Gecko.
Yeah, there you go.
I wasn't sure. Like, I'm like, okay, like cover's cool. The art is different, which is, it fits. It looks close enough to the regular stuff, and it fits the Mutanimals just fine. I had no issue with this art. There were no bird face or frog face women, so I was all good. So.
Yeah, it's almost not an entire lack of humans, but very downplayed for good reason.
Yeah, but the art was good. Like, I mean, when you come into these miniseries, you never know what you're going to get.
In most cases, the art was good. I mean, in maybe 1 or 2 issues, it could have been downplayed a little bit, but otherwise, it was acceptable. I didn't have an issue at all.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. So I wasn't even like, the first issue starts off, you have Pete and, God, what the hell is her name?
Lindsay.
The scientist that in one of the previous arcs ends up working for Hob because he, kidnaps her.
Yeah, it's not entirely by choice here.
I think it is now by choice.
Yeah, well, I mean, she gets to ultimately continue her research, and that's all she wants.
Yeah, and I wasn't crazy about her, but I guess I never really knew a whole lot about her. But this arc really made me respect her a lot more.
Oh yeah, they
I like her.
Actually gave her a character in this one.
Yeah, and I was thinking about, like, yeah, she never had much character in, like, when she worked for StockGen. You see her a couple times. She tells April, what are you doing? Or I think once, and there's a few interactions with Chet, but there isn't much. And here, and then you see her kidnapped, but here they really fleshed her out. And it was, I really liked it.
Like we covered before, in most cases, characters are not throwaway. Unlike these guys with the eye patch and everything else, they're throwaway. But
I'm assuming this group is not throwaway, though.
The Mutanimals?
No, the Null.
Oh, no. Definitely not. No.
No, I didn't think so. I was like, there's no way you put this. That's also what surprised me. I mean, we'll get to it, but like how much this series, again, it might be a comic book thing. I don't read comics like this. How much the miniseries play such a big part in the main series. I can't get over that.
Yeah. No, I feel like it's always worth it when you do that side tracking to read a side story. In most cases, you don't regret it.
No, I haven't. I don't think any of them were really bad that we read. Just the annual. The one we skipped, the one we did.
Definitely the worst so far.
I was also laughing because this issue starts off with Pete and her walking, and he's talking about how there should be a blueberry cola, which Pepsi did make Pepsi once.
I don't think it was blueberry, though, was it?
Wasn't it blueberry?
You might be right. I don't know. But
I don't think I ever drank it because it grossed me out, the idea of a blueberry cola.
By the time they brought that out, I stopped drinking soda anyway. I don't know what that tastes like.
It said it was a berry-flavored soft drink from 2002 to 2004.
So, I mean, yeah, you might be right then.
It didn't smell wrong. So that's just what I thought. Because he's going on about how there should be a blueberry cola, and that joke, pays off later.
And he says, too, cherry, lemon, vanilla, all fruits. And she's trying to correct him. He's such a dipshit. He just overrides it.
I love how much of a dipshit Pete is.
Oh, it's great. I wish he was in here a lot more.
Like, he's writing down, what she says, and her line is, he says, writing down what you're saying, for Hob. And it's like, are you kidding me? It's bad enough. He has me as chaperone. Now he's, spying on me. He's like, don't be crazy. All Hob said was go with Lindsay, report back on everything she says and does nothing about spying on you.
Pete, you literally just described. Yeah.
I love Pete was great in this, and I didn't think I would say that, but I actually appreciated Pete in this arc.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I loved him before that, but this definitely stretches everything out for him. He actually later on we'll get to that point. He actually gets in on the action too.
Okay. There's a few funny things with Pete. Like they end up getting into a fight with these random thugs. I had no idea who these people were or what was going on. All I could think of is one of these random guys is with them looks just like Samuel Jackson Nick Fury.
Yeah, they must have been going for it.
I mean, 2015.
Yeah. The timing, yeah.
I mean, that would have been when MCU was super big, getting up to. We just had Avengers in 2012, so yeah, MCU was gigantic at that point. Age of Ultron might have been 2015, actually, or 2014. Age of Ultron, I think, was right around this time, so that fits in. But I was just laughing my ass off when I saw that. I was like, really?
And, that's one of at least 2 eye patches in this book.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, it's a bald black guy, but the way the guy acts and everything just reminds me of Nick Fury.
I'm sure that's what they were going for.
Oh yeah, I love when there's a part where Pete is getting tackled by a soldier, and he ends up they end up fighting, and the guy tried to shoot him, and he shoots up in the air. And he's like, "We got to get away! The bullet's gonna come down."
Yeah, I didn't catch that last time.
She's like, "You're not the bullet you need to worry about." They point the gun at him again.
And he's again such a dipshit. Stop, drop, and roll. That's for fire, buddy.
Pete is a great comic relief for this.
Much needed. I mean, we usually have Michelangelo or some other character for it, but he's the Michelangelo if he was mentally stunted.
Very fair. Did Pete always have little shorts on, or is this new?
Yeah, no, he's always had some shorts on, I want to say.
I guess that makes it so I don't have to ask the question of whether Pete has a dick hanging out or not, I guess so. Okay.
Right.
I don't think
any of us want that answer to begin with.
No. This isn't Watchmen.
Oh, God. Yeah. Did you watch the TV show, by the way?
No, not yet.
Oh, you want to see some dick? Go ahead and watch that one.
I don't. So, but I do want to watch the show.
Just saying, it's in it. Maybe not right away.
I need to watch that show. I cover the comic. Well, now it's been a few months at the time you're hearing this, but I covered the comic, and we're going to do the movie and show at some point. So.
Oh, man. Well, get ready for that ding-a-ling. It's coming.
Yeah, I know. And then they throw Pete in the van, and I like how they're like, yeah, boss might want to vivisect him. And he's like, sounds good to me. Not even realizing what they're saying.
No idea what the hell that means.
But at the same time, when they're capturing Lindsay, she gets a phone call off and calls Hobb and leaves a voicemail saying that they're being attacked. And then it cuts back to them coming back home. And I like this, where they're just starting to chill. Mondo's just laying on the couch. And you have Hobb who, finds the voicemail and starts freaking out. And there's a great part where he pulls out the tracker. And Mondo's like, hey, wait, Bo, you have a tracking device on all of us, don't you? And he's like, no.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
And he pauses, which I thought was the best.
That they drew a panel of nothing, of him just looking at him like just deadpan.
Just the awkward silence, and then, no, of course not. Unflinching, too. He's got the same facial expression.
They literally just took the same picture and just put it in 2 panels with the text box.
Well, in his mouth a little different.
Oh, wait, you're right. His mouth is a little different. That's hilarious, though.
That's great. That was a good part.
It's hot.
They actually do a couple things like that in here that we usually don't catch in the main comic.
I feel like, it really fleshes out these characters way more than I expected. And it made me
understand
care.
That too. Like remember when early on, like you would talk about Hobb, how much you hate him as a character. I mean, I don't know how you feel now, but I looked at it from my point of view to where I was like, okay, like I know where his character's at my point of the story. So it's like I had a different kind of perspective on that character to begin with. I was like, yeah, just give it some time. It might grow.
He's grown on me little by little.
Don't get it wrong. He's still an absolute asshole, even where I'm at. But yeah, I mean, he's around for the long term. Yeah,
I didn't expect anything different than being an asshole. I'm surprised how much he stuck around with this series. But again, like I've said many times during this arc, or during these, this arc that we've been doing these episodes, nothing besides the French ninjas are throwaway. Nothing.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. And like the way that they do stuff with Jillian. When Jillian gets to the office building, you don't know what's going on yet. She runs into someone she knows, and you find out it's her ex-girlfriend. I like that too. I thought that was a really cool dynamic to have.
So if they're going to introduce a character, I guess have some type of tight personal tie, not just some random coworker, but something more than that.
Well, it fits this. I'm assuming she won't be back, because I'm assuming she's getting murdered at the end of this arc, but we'll see.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think she does, but I don't know. It's been so long.
Yeah.
I don't think she does though.
It's just the way things go. But she deserves it. I mean, she's a shitty character. It's like, yeah, we just kidnapped him. Yeah, we'll drop him right back off, and then
the way they fleshed out this character or built this character reminded me a lot of Rennet, however you want to pronounce it.
Rennet. Why is that? It's not ringing a bell.
The Time Surfer.
Oh, yes, from the Scepter Lady.
Yeah, Scepter Lady.
Okay.
So this one reminds me a lot of her with some of her mannerisms, the way she speaks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very similar in some ways, smarter, I guess. It's not such a Valley Girl.
Yeah. No, I liked her character. I was hoping as his arc went on that she would end up joining the Mutanimals, not turning out to be a straight up villain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, because she completely lies to Lindsay and like tells her, oh, hey, I'm working for this great group, and you know, they're going to, you know, you can come work for us, and we just wanted to hire you. We're rescuing you from those from those mutants that you're with, those terrorists. And it really made me think about how often that, like, any government or any larger group will use that word terrorist, you know, in real life.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
That fits. Like, I feel like that's what they were going for here, too.
Very well could have been. Maybe around this time, too.
2015? Yeah, it would have been. And then at the same time, when she's telling Lindsay how, you know, she come work for us and we're going to drop Pete off, she whispers to Nick Fury, take him to the rail yard.
Well, they're gonna spray Pigeon Pete's small brains everywhere.
It's not like that. I feel like there can't be that much there to identify from him.
Yeah, no.
So, and like, she kind of just goes on all about how, you know, she needs Lindsay's help and they're trying to make, you know, mutants. And then she even comes up something about making mutants for the Foot Clan.
Right. Yeah, I did catch that. That was a nice touch to not only kind of find out where some of the mutants might be coming from, but how much of a role that Null Corporation does and will play into the storyline going forward.
So it makes me think if Bludgeon and Okoye were then made by this group, or at least Bludgeon might have been.
Right, because they don't necessarily explain, I don't think, how else they came to make such well-defined mutants.
Yeah, because those are literal animals that became mutants, where Bebop and Rocksteady were idiot humans that were sprayed with gel, essentially.
And then as we see later, we'll see other mutants that are being transported and all that kind of stuff from Null Corporation. So very well, Okoye and Bludgeon could have came from that. Which
are also being sold to the Foot.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting.
So, yeah, could have been their origin.
I like little stuff like that. I like the fact that they say, you know, they mentioned the Foot Clan, but again, like, this arc has it has nothing. There's no turtles, there's no Foot. It's just a completely different thing that's happening in the same area. And that was nice. You know, it was a nice break, kind of, in a way. And then you see when they're tracking Pete, you see them driving a van, and, you know, Pete has a tracker. And I thought this part was hilarious, where Pete's trying to jump out of the car, and they're telling him to fly.
Oh, yeah, and he sort of does.
Pigeons can fly. Apparently not Pete.
Well, well, he's kind of beefy. Pete seems to eat everything, but you gotta understand, he also doesn't know how to do anything else.
And I like how they show him crash, and he's all beat up and bruises on, and he's a black eye, and he sees some kid. He's like, "Hi, I'm Pete."
Yeah, dude, it's the worst timing, and he's just out there telling somebody who he is. Oh, look at him. Yeah, he looks horrible.
But can you imagine if you were a kid and all of a sudden you stumbled on like a mutant pigeon? I think we'd be the same way. Like, you all right, mister?
Right. I mean, this kid's clearly about like 6 years old, 7.
Yeah, I know. I would have been. I'd be like, wow, what's this?
It'd be like the coolest thing ever. Weirdest, coolest thing ever.
And then the Gecko asks Hob, like, yeah, should we stop and help him? Like, no, he's fine. Hob don't care.
Yeah, I mean, technically he is. I mean, unless Hob is suspecting that somebody else is out here trying to do this, Pete technically is all right.
He just wants to stop.
You got to think about how durable most mutants are.
Yeah, I mean, they're not. We've seen what they can take throughout the comic, like how beat up some of the turtles get. You know, I mean, hey, in some iterations, a turtle gets thrown through a roof and he's got to sit in a bathtub for a while. So it depends on the iteration, huh?
Yeah, not wrong there. Yeah. Well, I guess before that, he did get a stiff ass whooping. But,
yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
The second movie, I don't remember what happens when they get tied up to the pole.
You don't remember what happens, you said?
No, do they just get the net thrown at them and they get tied on the pole, or is that before? I can't. It's been a while.
That was so. I think Splinter comes and knocks them free from the net.
Okay, yeah, because they're being raised because they're going to be dropped on a bunch of tools.
Right. Pretty much, yeah.
Such a stupid movie. Hilarious.
It really is. It really is a dumb movie. I'll still watch it. It's a dumb.
Oh, it's not a bad movie. I mean, it brings up one of the best songs ever made. You know, Ninja Rap. Go.
There you go, buddy. Yeah, that is your ringtone.
Hey, Vanilla Ice, one of his best songs ever. You know, that he didn't steal.
It's the only Vanilla Ice song that I listen to.
He only has 2 songs that I think people know, and the other one he stole and then lied.
Big surprise, huh?
I forget about him even existing. It wasn't for that song, I wouldn't even think of him. But so they follow the van, they crash.
So get this here. Mondo says, "Watch out for those civilians."
Oh,
there are no civilians. That's what he thinks about humans.
Oh yeah, he hates humans, and it kind of I'm not even gonna say kind of. It makes sense for this character to hate humans after what humans have done to him. When he was a cat, he had a home, he had a family. He was thrown outside because some asshole woman, like, "You didn't clean the litter box, Johnny," and threw out her cat. "I'm gonna teach you a lesson, Johnny." You know, it's like, man, you just gave that kid PTSD the rest of his life. He didn't get a girlfriend. "Where are you going, honey?" "I'm going to the store, Johnny. You'll come back, all right?" Like, you know.
Whoa, yeah. There is a comparison that I'm going to make. I want to say later, if I can remember, or if I come across the spot that I'm thinking about, makes me compare him to actually a real life figure that you might agree with.
You have my attention.
Well, we'll see when we get there, and if I can't pinpoint that moment, I'll just bring it up.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually, wherever it is. But after they crash the van, you have Mondo chasing after wannabe Nick Fury. I like what they do where Mondo takes his wallet and then, you know, Hobbs like, nice looking family there, and starts threatening his family, which again makes sense. I mean, that's how you're going to get information out of somebody.
Whether he means it or not. In this case, I doubt he does, but he's sure as hell playing the role.
It sure upsets Slash, though.
Yeah, because Slash is with Mondo, kind of the voice of reason here.
And I think that's also really cool how they did that, because Slash is this big, you know, hulking character, yet after, you know, he gets the shot and gets the serum, he's not just a mindless, or wasn't he mindless then? He's much more intelligent and much more focused. And like, he makes a comment that we're going to bring up multiple times throughout this, that we're the good guys. We're like the good guys, like Michelangelo and the Turtles.
Yeah, he's obsessed with being a hero.
Which makes sense.
His role, well, you got to think about that too, I guess. I wish they maybe would have touched on that a little more, I guess, as far as that. The reason he wants to be a hero is quite possibly because of the Turtles' influence, but you got to think, he's the only other mutant turtle out here currently. And that's all he has. That's the only relation he has to anything being like him other than other mutant animals. So you would think that's who he wants to be like.
Yeah,
and I like he has that little shit tail, unlike the Turtles do. The Turtles don't in IDW.
I didn't notice that. Yeah, just in this panel that we're looking at, I see his little tail.
Mm-hmm.
And their tails got clipped. They look like dicks on the toys.
It looked like dicks or shit coming out of their ass. You name it.
I'm pretty sure dick was what they were afraid of.
Dick coming out of their ass. Hey, whatever works.
And then you see Lindsay's at the lab with the other woman that I can't remember her name all of a sudden.
Jillian.
And I like how they break in to rescue her, essentially, which again is also cool because they do respect her. But also when Hobbs sees the play, he's like, this is not a lab. This is a torture chamber. And he starts having a flashback. You see a couple panels of what happened to him at Stockton.
Right. And this is just a reminder of just how tormented some of these are. And what's his name? Slash knows just what that's like. Yeah. Those two are the closest to one another because of that.
Yeah, and I like how they just start busting up the lab, too. They're like, fuck this place. And you have a small part where Lindsay she lies to tells Mondo where the other girl went. She doesn't tell her where she is. Doesn't tell her where Jillian went. She points the other direction. Again, doesn't have a big effect. But, you know, she's still unsure about them. And I think part of her wants to take this job. So you do have that kind of playing there back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, so usually as that happens, they're running through the lab. They're looking for mutants. They come across a random mutant in a bed, which is a character I did not expect. Which is, God, what is his name all of a sudden? My brain. Mutagen Man.
He looks absolutely hideous.
Remember this? He must have been in the original show.
I think that's when they introduced him, actually, because I remember He had more like purple tones back then.
I had the toy too.
I had the toy. As funny as that shit look.
That's an ugly ass toy, by the way.
Did you send it?
No, but I'm trying to find a picture of it, of the one that we had as kids. But it's just like, it was not a character I expected at all, and I didn't expect where they were going to go with him either. Like, when they first find him, they're like, hey, we're here to save you. And he's like, great. And he puts the gun to his head, to his brain. He says, okay, save me. Like, it's dark.
That's the one ugly-ass toy.
Yes, it is. It's really an ugly-ass toy.
Oh, that's hideous.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he looks better in the comic than he does in the original toy because, well, I guess I didn't notice this before, but his arms are like a mutated arms and mutated legs, and then he's a brain and a brain stem inside a like robot body.
It's just a slap together multiple DNA of animals. That's what we get.
Yeah, and then they get him.
I don't. This shows because you got, when you really think about it, like the mutants have suffered in the past, at least some of them. Like Mondo hasn't had that opportunity. Pete, anybody. Only two we got currently are Hob and Slash. So their pain is technically in the past, right? Like all they're fighting for now is just pretty much mutant rights or something like that. But yeah, all their pain for the most part was in the past. So now we get to see somebody that's even lower than that, that's still going through the pain, that's maybe even worse in this case. You gotta like look at what kind of monster they made, and all they can feel is sympathy.
Yeah, it's really like, I was just surprised how dark it got. Like, this whole thing is pretty dark, especially as we continue on, and that kind of threw me for a loop at first. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, I've been reading this book now for most of this year, so I shouldn't be surprised.
Right? Yeah. No, this is a pretty dark side path. Especially when you see this guy. This is him, his first appearance in the bed, and look at their faces right before that. Like it's rather shocking, even for the reader in that next panel.
Yeah, I mean, it's meant to be. It shocks everyone. Even Hobbs, like, whoa. I mean, like, we're not doing that. And you get to see Herman really kind of show the person he is. He's like, you misunderstand. This is an extraction mission. On your feet, soldier.
Yeah.
And then they do see a bunch of more, guards coming to get them. They load them up in the van and they get the hell out of there. And it's
and that gun to the head, again, another sad symbol of what these mutants were meant to go through.
Yeah, I mean, he's ready. He's like, kill me. I don't want to live. This is not life. So I was surprised. It definitely threw me for a loop. And then that brings us to and then they're in the car and he says, like, we're going to start a war. That's what Hobbs says, because of course, Hob wants to fight with his army.
As we have the no security team showing up.
Like the cover of the second issue where you see the Mutanimals just beating the shit out of Null security guards on the cover, which is damn cool, by the way. These are damn cool covers too.
Yeah.
So
Slash and Mondo just wrecking shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They get a lot of like, show in this book. That was nice. In this arc.
Now this whole thing, and as we go further, it even kind of cements it more. But just to see, like, this would be a great like side, even if it didn't have its own like TV series. But a side episode that encompassed all this would be very interesting.
Yep, I completely agree.
And look at in the fridge, we have some V9 instead of V8.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I just caught the milk, and I like how Herman's, pouring himself a glass of milk, and Mondo's just eating snacks.
Did you know hermit crabs would drink milk?
I didn't think so, but
might be the first one in history, but hey, who knows?
I do like that. Or he's like, I have a hard time resting on my off time. Mondo's like, I just chill.
Well, yeah, Mondo's the relaxed guy. You got to think that Herman, I should say, is always like not on edge necessarily, but he's so disciplined, just worried about the next plan or whatever. That it's totally different attitudes. Yeah, he's a soldier. That's why.
I think it works well how they show him in this too.
Yeah.
And when it first cuts, so this surprised me. Then it cuts to Lindsay and Jillian in a corporate office with someone that sitting across the desk that looks like a freaking devil, a woman with red skin and little horns. Who the first thing she said, did you know that it only takes 8 pounds of pressure per square inch to crack a human skull?
Makes you wonder how long she's been here, because I don't know what you make out of her. I know a little bit. Very slight bit of an origin for her, but that's it. So was this a character that was in anything else before? I've never seen it before.
Okay. I haven't either, so it kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah,
I
I
was
think
a
this is the
little
all
surprised.
original one, and they actually got big plans for her. Even to where I'm at, it's just starting to come to light.
Oh,
So
that's
it's a slow burn with her.
I mean, I've learned a long time ago when it comes. I don't look up shit about TMT.
Don't.
I can't. After I looked up Chet and got foiled on that, I haven't looked up a single thing again. So
At least you learned your lesson.
I did. I stay far away from the internet. I just look at like the timelines. So I know some of the name of the arcs, but that doesn't really affect too much. It doesn't spoil stuff for the most part. So doesn't. I mean, I know what's coming up in a sense, like I know, but I don't really know a whole lot. But no, she's a really like evil seeming character. Not even the fact that she looks like the devil, just the way that she talks to them. And where Lindsay's like, I don't know if I'm going to take this job. She's like, funny. That's like you have a choice, essentially.
Well, I do realize, especially in this case, that every main TMNT villain is rather ruthless. They don't take any shit. They'll kill you in a drop of a dime.
Shredder.
She's on the same level technically as a Shredder and Krang.
Yeah, and I think at the same point you need to add a new villain because you kind of took Krang off the chessboard for a while.
Sure, there was a little bit of room to fill.
Yeah, you put him in prison. I mean, the trial of Krang isn't. We would have known this, but it isn't for a while before that arc comes up. So I know it's going to be a while before he becomes a person of interest again in the comic. I'm assuming. So it makes sense that
Krang is you're talking about Krang, right?
Yeah, because I feel like Krang's going to be gone for a while.
Yeah, I mean, they had other plans right now. I mean, the story needs to focus on vengeance, which has almost nothing to do with Krang at all. So they had to get him off the board, focus on what's important right now. After that, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Trial of Krang isn't until issue 73.
Damn, yeah, that's a bit away.
And we're in the 40s for the main stuff, so it's a while. So that's how I took it too. They're setting up stuff for future.
Yeah, no, it was the right time. I think it was time to kind of push them aside.
And then she mentioned how they beefed up security. Then it cuts to Hob and Slash that are doing reconnaissance, and because they find a scientist that's leaving, and they're starting to follow someone.
So you got this giant fucking turtle and cat doing reconnaissance, broad daylight. I don't know how that works because Slash is not a ninja as much as he might look like a ninja turtle. Yeah, don't know how that worked out, but it's unimportant.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. I was like, okay, how do you hide? But all right.
Yeah, his big sloppy ass
turtle
climbing a building. Nobody saw that. Nobody. It was New York.
Yeah, there's no one around in New York. What are you talking about? It's quiet.
I guess not. I mean, shit, you rarely see people on the street, so whatever.
It's a different New York than what we have.
I mean, look at that fight that happened between Turtles and Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, the police should have been out there when you destroy a whole fucking building.
Like, how the fuck did that happen? No humans get hurt or nobody was around.
This New York, it takes place in the middle of Kentucky somewhere?
Yeah.
Nobody around? I don't know.
Right, in the middle of a fucking farm.
But when it cuts back to the Mutanimals, this is a really good character building moment for Mutagen Man, where he's just like, I don't know what to do. No one told me what to do, so I just left my room. And they're like, yeah, feel free just to chill. And he doesn't understand. And then Gecko's like, hey, why don't you play a game with me? I like that. They're playing video games, even though that controller looks terrible.
Typically, yeah, right. Typically, anything that has to do with, say, electronics or anything else would be a skill test or some type of just test in general. And that's what he thinks the game is supposed to be about, which it's not. It's about enjoyment, which he has no concept of. Which
makes sense. I mean, again, so many dark themes of the idea of somebody in captivity, and it makes sense. And this is also when he gets his name, which I really like how Mondo calls him. I'm going to call you See More Guts. Because when I see you, I see more guts.
And he laughs his ass off.
It makes sense. It's a brain, eyes, a spinal cord, and a bunch of guts in some kind of containment.
And he says here, that's the first time he's ever laughed, ever in his life.
Again, so fucking dark.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm like, damn, this book went places that I did not expect from another TMT miniseries, but they keep surprising me. I was a little impressed. And then when it does cut back to Hob and Slash, you see them how they caught one of the scientists, they tied him up, and they're threatening, to have him tell them what's going on, where the mutants are, or they're going to kill him, essentially. And I do like it where he's like, people like me, he's like, I'm just a guy with a mortgage. Like, I just work there.
Yeah. It's just a livelihood for him, which almost makes it worse in a sense because that's how careless it is for him with these mutant lives.
Yeah. And it makes sense. And it's cool to have that where they're like, yeah, I mean, these are just there are people who just work here. This isn't like the Foot where they're like, hey, old Shredder. This is a different type of thing.
I got Hobb here channeling Christian Bale. Where are they?
Oh, God. Dark Knight reference. I didn't expect that.
That's the only voice I can hear in this panel.
Where is she? Well, you see here.
He was searching for Rachel and
Harvey Dent.
Harvey, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, where are they?
And he goes to the wrong one, essentially. They lie to him.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was good.
Great. That's another story.
But yeah, no, you're. I didn't think about that, but you are right. He does kind of go that voice, and he's about to kill the scientist until Slash stops him, and maybe not kill him, but injure him badly. So, and I thought that was that. It's cool to see like the dynamic between Slash and Hobb in this, and how much Slash is trying to hold back Hobb from going, full killer, even though he wants to. Because like shortly after he pulls a gun on the guy, and after they get the information, is gonna just kill him, which again makes sense because if you leave him alive, he's gonna tell somebody what happened. So it makes sense. But it's just I really liked how Slash stops him. I think this is when Slash first says like we're the good guys, like we're not doing this. So I thought that was and they really have a talk about how we're not going to be a bunch of terrorists. And you have when Slash and Hobb get back and they're arguing. I love how they're Hobb gets mad. How dare you call me a terrorist? And you just have a panel of Pete walking by blowing bubbles.
Oh, I love that part. And again, where that like awkward pause comes in. Great. So I'll bring it up now because I don't know if there is another point to where it's relevant as far as the way I feel about Hobb here. This comic really shows some parallels between Hobb and Malcolm X.
Oh.
So okay. Think about this. Malcolm X was fighting for civil rights just as well as Martin Luther King, except they had different ideologies. Martin Luther King was more about let's talk this out, let's figure it out. We just want equality. There's got to be a way we can negotiate this and make this work. Malcolm X was like, you know what, fuck that. We're gonna take that by force. We're not gonna play these games anymore. We're not gonna lay down. We're gonna force a change violently if we have to. And Hobb is of that mind state.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. I mean, we don't really have a Martin Luther King Jr. because Splinter definitely isn't that, but it's a good, it's a good comparison.
Right. I mean, just as far as Hobb and Malcolm X goes, he cares enough about his people, his mutant people, to the point where it's like, you know what, if we got to kill for this, use violence as a tool, hey, we're going to do what we got to do.
Yeah. It's also very Magneto, Professor X kind of thing, too.
Mm. Yeah. It's a good comparison, too.
And that's probably what they were thinking, too, when they were writing all this.
Yeah, very possible.
It was just good to see. It made me really like Slash a lot more than I ever did. And this book also made me like Hobb way more, which, again, not something I would have thought was going to happen throughout this arc.
Yeah, they really show. I mean, Hobb hasn't changed much in this arc, I suppose, but they just let you know how passionate he truly is, and they don't hold back.
No, they make you care about a character that I didn't care about a whole lot. Like, I actually, like, the stuff with Mutant Man, I actually care about Mutant Man now. Like, I never cared about this character in my life. The toy was ugly. He's also a villain, usually. I mean, I don't consider these guys villains, per se.
No, I mean, some people, they're bringing up the terrorist word. Some people would consider them that, yes. I mean, just depends on their point of view as far as like Hobb and the rest of the Mutanimals, where they stand. And
this is when he gets everybody together, because they know that the mutants are at the train yard. So they want to go rescue the other two mutants that they know are around. So they get the whole team together.
Here's something, I don't mean to cut that off, but this is a good panel here where we got Slash and Hobb arguing, where Slash is Hobb is telling Slash, like, you of all people, know what it's like to be tortured and whatever.
Yeah.
So Slash says, but it's over now. And if we resort to those same tactics, he gets cut off. But the thing is that Slash they're both from the same origin, so to say. They both went through the same pain. One is somewhat healed, and the other one isn't. And this is the type of dynamic you get from it.
Yeah, that's very fair. It's showing how each one took it. What happened to them.
Right, and what way of life they want to live afterwards. One that's not healed is more prone to continuously make more problems for himself.
Yeah. And to keep wanting to, like, you know, just the way that everything is, like, Hobb has not gotten over what's happened to him, and I don't think he ever will.
I'll tell you right now, I haven't seen it yet.
So it was really cool to see. Just their dynamic was, because this is the first time you ever see Slash really confront Hobb and disagree with him ever since he joined up, which has been a while now at this point. God, Slash is so damn cool in this IDW run in general.
It's probably one of the best iterations of Slash ever.
Yeah.
It's still not the way I want to see Slash, if I'm being honest, but it's a better one.
And then they go to the train yard. They crash their car because there's their bus because there's tons of guards there. And like you see them get run, and they run essentially into an ambush. And this part kind of surprised me, where Null is there, which I thought was weird. That the CEO that you meet earlier in this comic is just there, you know, being like, yeah, fuck you guys. Like, you know, you guys are nothing to us, but we're going to, you know, take you back. We're taking our property back.
Right. And look at how Seymour responds.
He gets on his knees and just gets terrified, you know, and he's terrified they're going to take him back to the lab. And I like how Hobb is like, they ain't. And he just shoots her right in the chest.
Oh, Hobb is not fucking around whatsoever. And as you notice, right in the background of that pistol is this Null security team not moving a muscle because they know already.
That surprised me when I first saw that. I was like, what? You know, when I was reading this panel, and then Hobbs like, what? I mean, he's like, I expected more of a reaction from you fellas, you know, with killing your boss and all. But that's where she gets up. She's like, wrong, you stupid cat. You can't kill me, but that hurt like hell. Take them.
Mm-hmm.
And they just start rushing them. But they do a good job of taking down the Mutanimals. You have a scene of Herman getting gas and getting knocked out. You have Hobb getting shocked. Pete having a net put over him.
This becomes a beat 'em up.
Yeah.
This right here is a beat 'em up scene. They're hitting multiple enemies at once using AoEs. Shit is getting real. Crowd control.
We played too many beat 'em ups, haven't we, in our time, huh?
Yeah. And MMOs. But that's another story.
Yeah, I'm not going that road ever again in my life.
Yeah, don't.
I have a friend who's always like, you should play 14. I'm like, no, I shouldn't. We've been down that road once.
Yep.
Never again. I think about it every so often. I think, FF14 does look cool.
I played my fair share of it. It was good, but not for me.
The only MMO I want to go back to is I want to play FF11 again in a system where I don't have to do anything with other people. I can just blow through the game and see what I want to see.
Hey, it's possible.
I know it is. So that's probably not going to happen. And then as they're in the fight, this is where you have Slash and Mondo, Slash being Slash, are able to knock off everybody. And they're the only two that escape when everyone else is thrown in prison. Or thrown in cells on the train, how I should put it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get introduced to two more mutants. One is called Ray. I think this is not Ray Phillip, but I don't know.
Ray Fillet, yeah, it is.
It is? Okay. Like, I looked it up, and they said, oh, it's not Ray Fillet, and I'm like, well, that is Ray Fillet. He's a Ray. And he's called Ray.
Pretty fucking sure it's Ray Fillet. Who else?
Yeah. So
maybe they don't call him that in here, but
they call him Ray.
What he's based off of, yeah.
Yeah. He's just not as goofy.
Right. Oh, he's more intelligent. He's like the beast of the X-Men here. And
I don't know who this girl, this female like tiger is, who can apparently drive any vehicle. You find out
that is a lion, Sally Pride.
Oh, of course it's Sally. Of course it's Pride in the last name, huh?
There you go. That, if you need to remember if she's a lion or not, think of her last name.
Yeah, the Pride Lands.
There you go, buddy.
Was she from the original stuff?
No.
Okay, another new character then.
Yes, and she plays a bigger role later.
Okay. No, I figured all this stuff does. And you see her, she sees them get captured. She's also in a cell, and she tries to break the cell. And then it cuts away to Mondo and Slash, who escape. And then Slash even calls himself, we're going to go get them. We're the good guys. We're the mighty Mutanimals. And I like that a lot.
Yep. They're the heroes that he wants to be.
Yeah. Where Hobb isn't really... Hobb don't give a shit what they are. Just like Magneto.
No, he doesn't give a shit.
Like Echo cares. Slash cares. Mondo, I don't think Mondo really cares too much what they're doing.
Not entirely. I mean, he's nowhere near as like careless as like Hobb might be, but he's not as obsessive as the other two. He's kind of the middle ground.
Yeah, good character.
This guy, he just wants to exist, relax. He's having a hard time doing that.
And then that brings us to the third issue, which is that's okay. The cover with Mondo just skating on top of a train and a helicopter shooting at him, guards after him, but it's cool.
Nothing special, but yeah, it does the job.
Yeah. I do like how it opens up with Mondo's hot wiring a truck, And Slash is like, hey, where'd you learn that? He's like, we're heroes, big man. Just focus on that part.
Yeah, right. Reminds me of the truck from first movie.
Oh, yeah. Is it like an old pickup truck? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably, I wouldn't be surprised they were thinking that too when they were drawing it.
Right.
And then you see them in the train where they're talking about who's there, and they realize that Mondo and Slash are missing. And that's when Hob calms down. He's like, okay, we'll be all right. We're going to be okay. And I like that. I like how he trusts his team. And the train just looks like a normal train. You know, has graffiti on it. It's just like your average train. Nothing you would suspect is carrying a bunch of mutants.
Right. It might have an N on the front. You can hardly tell. Like on that door.
Yeah, just say N rail.
But,
okay.
Yeah, that's as far as it goes, and nobody knows what the hell that means.
No, I mean, we never even heard of Null before at this point. So, you know, it's this issue has a few dark things. You have a cool moment of Slash and Gecko jumping onto the train and getting inside the car. I like that. And then you see Slash and Gecko just getting, I mean, they're kind of getting their ass beat by these guards. I mean, Gecko's about to get thrown into a cell. Slash is getting pushed into a cell, and this is when Slash just freaks the fuck out, and God, is it awesome.
Well, it just shows you as much as he might have healed, he still has some of that repressed PTSD. And not only that, but serum and everything that he's endured is like they end up saying, unstable.
And like he even says, and the text box change, it goes from a regular white text box for all his talking, or all, you know, his words, to a black text box with white writing. And so, you know, no more pain, no more cage, no more. And he starts throwing fuckers through a train car. Like, literally through the train car. They're fucking dead.
Yeah, like, something's, if they're not dead, then they're mangled. Like, they're breaking backs or something's happening.
And I think he literally picks up a train car and throws it too, and derails the train.
But he rips out the cage, causing the train to derail.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought he picked up the train car itself. But damn, is he powerful.
Yeah, and they're afraid of him. Even Mondo's like, hey, man, like, I don't want none of that shit.
I mean, he loses it, and, you know, they're terrified of him. And the text box is changed back. And he's like, I'm fine, guys. Like, you know, the stress of battle increased my general output and alter my physiology, but I'm fine now. I'm fine. And, like, they're all just staying away from him.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
I didn't just throw a train, guys. I'm fine. I promise. I didn't just murder people and throw them through the wall. I'm okay.
The only time you see that type of power in this entire comic is Bebop and Rocksteady.
Oh, yeah. So it's cool to see. I really liked it. And then it cuts back to Vivian and Jillian on the roof with Null, and they're talking to Null. And this is when you get to kind of see that there's something else about her, where Vivian says, I don't want the job. And she's like, you know,
Amazing.
You can't say no. She's like, we're on the 60th floor between us and the street. Do you really want to argue with me right now?
You mean Lindsay?
Oh, Lindsay, yeah, sorry.
There you go.
And I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with these two names. It doesn't matter. Jillian will be gone after this, so I don't have to remember her name.
Right. At least remember Lindsay, though.
I should. But this is when Null shows you that Null isn't normal, because she grabs one of her soldiers and, like, she drains his lifeblood to where he becomes like a skeleton. Yeah,
that's something else you don't see in this comic almost ever. So try to imagine what her origins might be.
The devil? Mm-hmm. I know it's not that.
We'll see.
I'm assuming, because of her comment she makes later, that she's from another dimension somewhere, like Dimension X somewhere else.
So I don't know if it's X. Again, it's quite some time to really read about that, but it is, yes, it's another dimension.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But I like how they show you how evil she is, and that, you know, she has more powers, and, like, this is what they're dealing with. And Lindsay gets really upset with Jillian, and then you have a part with them talking in the stairwell, and she keeps lying to her, but, you know, she's trying to act like, oh, you know, I'm just trying to, I just want help. And I like how they call her, like, I'm tired of working for Beazle Babe.
Oh, yeah, I did notice that.
That made me laugh. It was a good little thing, and just seeing the guards being like, "Excuse me, ma'am, we're taking you back downstairs to your lab. Like, you got off the elevator." Like, they're not. I mean, they're employees, but they're also prisoners at the same time. Like, it's not like they're not safe. I thought that was all cool. And then just the stuff where it's, you know, Hob is being introduced with the group, and you have them talking with Slash, and just, you know, kind of explaining like what happened to Slash. And him, you know, getting upset. And I like how you see them connect more. Like, Hobbs like, you know, I got you, brother. Like, I'll take care of you.
Yep, even though they don't fully agree, they still care.
I really like that. Again, Hobb made me care more for him, and I like when Pete is introducing Ray and Sally Pride to the group. I like how his line's like, "Oh yeah, and try not to poop on the floor." Hobb starts to get pretty mad after the 5th or 6th time that happens.
Yeah, what a nasty prick. So what does that tell you?
Well, I mean, he is a bird. That's what birds do. They just shit wherever they feel like.
Yeah, especially when you're mentally deficient.
Because they made a mistake when they created him.
Yep.
In creating him. So I thought that was funny.
Try to not poop on the floor.
And this is, you see more where this is where they agreed they're going to go destroy the lab because they want to stop them being made more mutants. And Mutagen Men is like, we can't just, he knows that they can't just go back in there, and he wants to fix it. And he also wants to die.
He's already plotting this whole conversation. And that's why he creeps off.
Yeah. And I like how Pete's like, I give everyone a nightlight because they help with the nightmares. And it just shows how they're all suffering. But I like Pete's nightmare. He's like, trolley cars, mostly weddings, pretty much anything that has to do with rice.
Yeah.
Didn't make sense. So I thought that was cool. And then this is where you see Seymour take apart his suit, and he starts to fuck with it to essentially make it a bomb. And I think, do they go to the base then, or are they just still hanging out outside?
Seymour starts to take off on his own. And
okay.
They got to follow him and go help out.
Okay, I see. They see him leave.
He makes it there on his own. I don't know how the hell he knows how to get there, but
okay, and then you see Jillian and Lindsay. Mutagen shows up, and that's where he says he's dying. And then they realize that he set up a bomb to kill them all.
Yep.
And he's like, and then none of you will ever hurt another mutant again.
He's willing to take innocent lives at that moment.
Are they innocent, though?
No.
I mean, hey, someone just got a mortgage, but still, you do have to pay for it.
You still made a choice.
You're working for the devil, figuratively or literally. Still. And then that brings us to the 4th issue, and this issue has a cool cover also, where you see Null standing on top of something, a building. It looks like choking the hell out of Hobb. It was cool. I was like, all right, I'm in. It's
nice. It's for the 4th issue. It's definitely a nice cover to kind of finish it off. Let you know how much this arc is starting to escalate or about to escalate.
I definitely liked it. And then this is when you see Hobb in the van with the 2 new members, Ray and Sandy, and Sandy's driving, and they're rushing to the factory or the lab to go get Mutagen Man or Seymour Guts.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some really cool moments, like just when he's there and he's talking with Lindsay, and Lindsay wants to help him and probably save herself too. But like he also ends up shooting a chemical so he can start the place, blowing up. So he's like, we're all gonna die here. So I think that's cool.
Yep. And then Hobb gets the info that Seymour is the bomb.
Yeah, because he sneaks in the door Indiana Jones style and slides underneath as it closes.
Yep.
And again, he feels bad for Seymour. He wants to save him. He's like, you don't need to die. And it's Lindsay that ends up saving him because she rips out the bomb. So I thought that was cool. And this is when she rips out the bomb, and then during that time, she talks with Hobb, and I think this is when they start the plan that comes up a little bit later of what they're going to do. Oh, yeah, he tells her, I have a job for you and your little friend back here. And then you see that Hobb ends up, I'm assuming, Hobb lands on the roof and goes to meet Null in her office.
Right.
And then the Mutanimals take out all the people on the roof. And I was also surprised here. So their plan is to sneak inside. He's talking with her, and I forget, they're going inside the building going down the stairwell because there's no cameras, and they're going to attack her, I think, is what they're up to. Well, they have Lindsay her job is to get all the material that they have. But were you as surprised as I was when all of a sudden Rodney Roadkill shows up, the little robots?
Yes. Actually,
that is their name.
It is. Just to have that reference and throwback, I thought it was so damn cool.
I wouldn't have expected Rodney Roadkill. Not in a million years.
I don't think anybody would have.
I mean, and again, they did very wisely. They do not ever say their name. They're just robots.
Yeah,
but
throw it in there. Certain fans will get it, some won't.
Yeah, and you don't want to know the name of Rodney Roadkill. No. You just want to know, oh, look, cool robots on wheels. That's all you want to know.
Absolutely stupid ass name. They look like fire hydrants that were recolored and added a wheel.
Mm-hmm.
But to old men like us that know what these are from, oh, it's great.
It made me smile. It really did. And then I
forgot about their appearance in the shit until I reread it. I was like, oh, that's great.
I don't blame you. And you don't you see them in one panel, and then the next panel you see, or when you do see them again, you see them attacking the Mutanimals, and they're drilling through the floor with little drills on their head, just like in the old cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's amazing.
And
They
during
had the
this,
cables too later on.
oh yeah, I was like, that's fucking awesome. And you have a small part with Lindsay and Jillian where she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry we did this, and here's the information, and we're gonna stop this." And and she's telling her that she can come with her, that's the deal. And then she punches her in the face after she gets the information. I thought that was cool, and she ties her up to a pipe just to leave her there. And like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna kill her for betraying them. So
yeah, they don't really hear anything after that, as far as I'm aware.
So I don't think she survived. I mean, like, Null killed a guard just to prove a point. Like, why wouldn't she kill this woman who just betrayed them and deleted all their data and gives away the only information they have, so they have nothing left about this? Right. Yeah, she's like, I wiped the DNA code, deleted the formula, set the research back years, but this next thing I really don't think we should do. And then she gives them all the data they have. Oh, this is everything on our animal testing, every file, every video, every brutal experiment that Null that I perform. Yeah, she's dead. They're going to kill her. And, like, Pete gets shot in the wing, which I think is funny that it's Pete that gets hurt.
And it's funny because he's on top of the dumpster, the most fierce look on his face.
Mm-hmm. With
everybody's shooting with all these, like, or these robots are shooting with all these, like, automatic, like, weapon systems. He's got a pistol shooting these damn robots. Pete does not fuck around.
And they get all freaked out when he gets shot through the wing, and they get their ass kind of handed to them. Like, these Rodney Roadkills take them down with the cables. You see everybody tied up, everybody defeated. Herman's like, soldiers, brothers, it's been a privilege. And then all of a sudden, Sandy Pride, or Sally, what is it? Sally,
yes.
I don't think they say the name in this book, though.
Well, Prize Buddy, I actually don't think they do, but I know it from...
Well, yeah, you read more.
Future stuff, so... And
it shows her crash through the wall with a helicopter, which takes out the Rodneys, and then she rips off one of the propeller blades and uses it as a sword.
Hey, I'll take it.
And then they're able to fight back and beat it, but it's all part of the plan. I mean, because Hobbs' plan was to get, because he knew Null was going to attack them, he also knew Null would be prideful enough that she'd want to be involved in the killing. Right. And he gets choked out, as we saw on the cover, and then he slashes her in the eye, which I'm assuming now she's going to have an eye patch. Or maybe it does heal.
I don't think she does, but I don't remember anymore.
But I do like where Seymour Guts comes in with a rocket launcher, where she's like, right before that, she says, "You stupid alley cat, you managed to distract me, but did you really think that would hurt me?" He's like, "No, but this will." And he points to him with a rocket launcher, and he just shoots an RPG right at her.
Bullets hurt. That shit's gonna hurt.
I like that. She's like, you can't win. Where he's just like, "You're right. You're a giant multinational corporation, and we're just a scrappy band of mutants. We can't win. But boy, can we stir up trouble, way more trouble than we're worth. We will make sure that the profits you earn are nowhere near worth the cost. We'll set your research back by years. We'll expose all your dirty little secrets. We'll make your stock prices plummet."
Quote, avalanche to Shinra.
Oh, yeah. And I like how he's like, "So put your efforts in elsewhere. Cure cancer. Set up a mining colony on Venus. Develop a new sports drink. Or a blueberry cola," Pete says.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's hilarious that the cola comes back in the last issue.
Yeah, I'm glad they went full circle with that.
I thought that was really cool to see. And again, I actually cared. I cared about these characters way more than I expected. And when it cuts back to their base and it shows, Lindsay's all injured, but she doesn't think they want to help her because she feels like she kind of betrayed them. But they're like, "No, you're one of us." And they help her, because her hands are all burned from Seymour Guts' suit and then punching her girlfriend in the face and fighting with her. But I like that she's re-accepted back into the group.
Right.
And then when Ray is first Ray and Hobb are finally talking for the first time, and I like how Ray has a shotgun in this. Like, I can't wait to see what Ray does. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "I want to fight with you." I like how Hobbs like, "Yeah, we're not going to tell Slash all this."
Nah, I shouldn't at all.
So, because they're like, "Yeah, we need, I think they plan to attack more and take out more of Null."
And then you got Hob Diesel here, his family at the end of Fast and Furious 1.
Okay, you're right. I didn't even catch that.
He's got the wife beater on. It reminds me too much of Fast and Furious 1.
That's very fair. They're all sitting down to eat. So yeah, you're very much right.
Hob Diesel.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. All that matters is family. Now it goes. I haven't seen one since 5.
Well, I'm purely basing it off the ending of the first movie when they have the barbecue and they're all at the table. That's all I can think of.
It's very much like that, where they're having food and Herman's like, you should cut the meat. You should have the honor. And he's like, being with you is all the honor I know. Talking about the team. So I thought that was really cool. It's a really cool ending to have them all just sitting around the table. They got bandages on them because they're all beat up from fighting, and everybody's there together as a team or a family, as Vin Diesel would say.
Oh.
And that's Mutanimals, a series I had no interest in reading, but I'm very glad I did.
I know part of you probably even wanted to skip it.
I did, yes, but I'm in for the long haul, so I couldn't. But yeah, I was impressed. And then the next thing that we're going to be talking about, the finally long-awaited Vengeance arc.
Is that,
you can hear about
issue
that.
45?
I think it's like 45 to 50 or so.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, man. You're going to have a blast later on.
Well, I'm going to start it tonight. I'm so excited.
The art is better.
It's, 45 to 50 with the free comic book, and that's, in there.
Okay, yeah.
So we should go to Shelf Stacker Box. And why don't you go first?
Oh, I'd probably, just because it's more of a novelty thing, it's something we won't get to see an immense amount of content for. I'd probably shelve it because this is peak Mutanimals. This is it for them. And it was a good run. It was an interesting run. And without showing one Ninja Turtle, it was a big fat ass turtle, but not Ninja Turtles. They were able to drive a story that was interesting, entertaining. Yeah, Pete blowing bubbles between serious conversations. I'll take it again. I'd shelve it.
All right. I'm also going to put this on the shelf. I wasn't sure what I was going to think, but I read this twice and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I came in with no expectations. I really just wanted to get to Vengeance, and I had a great time. But this fucking TMT series is something else, man. That's all I got. Something else. So yeah, as I said before, this next episode you hear of us doing this will be Vengeance. So stay tuned for that.
Enjoy it, man. It's just like playing Chrono Trigger for the first time. That's what this is gonna feel like. I feel.
If I ever got dementia, I got to write a note to myself. As you forget everything, play this game.
Oh, that and Ocarina of Time? You're damn right.
I just keep replaying them. Like, wow, I wonder what's going to happen. Is Chrono going to save the world? I don't remember. Oh, really? Right. It doesn't work that way exactly, but yeah. I mean, I'll play Chrono Trigger again anyway. Because
we both
best game ever made. I've actually been tempted to play it again because I have a DS that is can play any DS game. So.
Hey, same here.
I was like, I should replay Chrono Trigger again.
Do it.
Oh, right. And if you want to hear the rest of our giant library, you can find everything on Podbean. If you search TMNT, you will find a list of all our comic episodes that we've been doing with TMT. So if you want to catch up, or if you go listen to all those, we've been going through the whole series, every single arc. So definitely go check those out. Plus, we do movies, comics, video games, all sorts of stuff on the show. You'll see everything on the Podbean website. You want to support the show, we do a Patreon. For the littlest dollar, you can vote in our Patreon poll. You'll see a link in the show notes. We also have a Discord, so if you want to chat with us, you see a link in the show notes to Discord also. So please go do that. I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Helena and Hell Hasfree. You can follow her on TikTok. She's TikTok famous now. And also want to shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who did the MCU movies with me. He started his own podcast, A Gamer Looks at 40. So definitely go check out his work too. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. Audio only, but we are on YouTube. So you find us there, and please subscribe, like us, do all those things, make the algorithm happy. And I think that's everything I need to say, so we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.